I'll record. Okay.
You might want to put the screen down
Towards you, yeah? Stand up for me, will you?
Yeah, it's a full mat.
There we go. Cool. So I'm Tonna, and I teach yoga and Pilates and some other things. I like to work with students that have injuries or that are beginners, and this is, of course, my neighbor who is also a yoga teacher and has no injuries whatsoever and is quite advanced. So I'm going to try to teach Kiyomi practice today. But feel free, Kiyomi, and anybody that might be, of course, experimenting along with us, just to do what feels good in your body. So, and then tell me because you can and they can't, if anything feels awkward, right?
Okay.
Even if it's something that you normally do, but then suddenly for some reason it feels awkward. All right, so at the top edge of your mat, we'll take a few breaths. I have not tried this with music yet, but we'll take a few breaths. Just stand firm and stand tall. Feel breath move through your body and trace its pathway from your nose into your throat, into your lungs. And then trace its pathway back out. And as a tool to getting more in tune to what's happening in your body, I want you to pay very close attention to the hairs inside your nose. So that as you inhale, you feel how they sort of bend in one direction. And just like grass bends in different directions when the wind changes, see if you can feel the hairs bend the other way. And feel free to laugh. I think yoga is important to a sense of humor. Now when you inhale, just go ahead and raise your arms up. You can choose pathways that feel comfortable for you. As you exhale, fold forward and touch the ground. Take a deep breath in and shift halfway up your legs. Your hands drag towards your knees. And when you exhale, fold in half. Reverse swan dive. Reach out, reach up. Good. And then bring your hands to your heart. Do you have space? Yeah, make sure you guys have space. Inhale, stretch your arms up again. Perfect. When you exhale, fold forward and feel again. Can you feel the pathway of the air as it enters your nostrils? Now that you're doing so much more. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, fold. Reverse swan dive, reach out and up. And bring your hands to your heart. So when I do this exercise, I will use a yoga block or two on either side of the top of my mat. I think you're okay. Inhale, stretch the arms up. And when you exhale, fold forward. The yoga blocks would go about shoulder width apart. Come to your flat back inhale. And when you exhale, slide your left foot way back into a lunge. Excellent. And from here, inhale, stretch your arms up. And when you exhale, plant your hands on the floor. Good. As you inhale, slide your hands forward on your mat and raise your left leg up behind you. When you exhale, pull the knee to your nose, rounded, lifted, hollow belly, and then step your foot next to your other foot. Good, and roll up your spine. So we move into the details of how joints kind of connect and how they feel. Think about the possibility too, even just a simple act of stepping your foot down can be reverent, right? So I can bend my toes, I can roll through and imagine like I'm compressing a spring with my heel. So I want to feel all of that like articulation. So it's really good. Inhale, stretch your arms up. When you exhale, fold forward, touch the ground. If you can bend your knees, you're a little closer to the ground. If you can't quite touch the ground, come halfway up your legs, inhale. And when you exhale, reach your right foot way back into a lunge. Beautiful. Stretch your arms up as you inhale. When you exhale, bring hands to the floor. Slide your hands forward and lift your right leg up. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bring your right knee to your nose, rounded, lifted, hollow belly, and try that articulation through your feet. So step your toes next to each other, and then roll down. Perfect. And then roll up to standing. Nice. All right, and bring your hands to your heart. You're starting to feel like you're doing some yoga.
Feels good.
Awesome. All right, so this time, inhale, stretch your arms all the way up. And when you exhale, fold forward, touch ground. So traditionally, we just let the head hang here. Try to let your head hang here. Shift a little bit your weight backward into your heels. So Keely is showing you a view in the sagittal plane. This is me from the side. You can see if my weight is in my heels, my hips are way back. And now shift your weight into your toes. And then do that again. Shift to your heels and to your toes, but try to keep your whole foot flat. So just where the weight falls in your feet changes. Notice when you do this, notice how the stretch changes in the back of your thighs and maybe into your low back. It shifts its intensity. Do you feel that at all? Yeah, cool. Right, and then shifting forward. So choose, right? Choose something that's not too intense. Yoga is always a balance of effort and ease. So I want to feel something, but I don't want to feel too much. Bend the knees and slowly roll up to standing. Same experiment here in Tadasana with your arms at your sides. How much can you shift forward without lifting your heels? And how much can you shift back without lifting your toes? It's hard enough for you. Good. Let's try it again. Just play and feel how different areas of your legs light up. Now, do you feel how different areas kind of engage? So that's something I like to play with, and I encourage you to play with that as well. So choose maybe something that you don't always choose, right? Unless it's painful. Just find some balance. Inhale, stretch the arms up. And now when you exhale, fold forward, touch the ground. Come halfway up again, inhale, flat back. Even here in the flat back, try shifting to the toes. Slight bend in your knees, Kiwi, just a tiny bend. Yeah, shift into your toes. They can't even see that, it's okay. I want you to feel it. And then shift back towards your heels, and then shift toward your toes again. Where do you normally hang out? Show me.
I think I tend to hinge towards my toes because I like that sensation.
Yeah.
Out here.
Cool. You normally have your knees all the way straight?
Yeah, I think so.
People are learning way too much about our practice. All right, fold forward, touch the ground. Then I'm asking because I want to know. So take your left foot all the way back into a lunge again. And then this time, inhale, stretch your arms up. And when you exhale, let's just play with the weight. Shift towards your toes. No problem with that left foot, right? But shift towards your heels. Keep your left heel raised. I know that's a very confusing cue. But shift forward into your toes. Good. And shift back a little bit. And just notice, like shift your hips. Shift the weight in the feet themselves. Some of that comes from the ankle too. Good. Now, this time, fold forward. Bring your fingertips to the ground. Make fingertip cages so that instead of pushing down and your fingers turning white, I want you to squeeze in so that you feel like almost a suction feeling in your palms. So like literally like you're gonna grab some sand or grab some rain or squeeze a grapefruit to test for firmness. Do you feel that kind of like upward shifting? Right. So there's an upward lifting energy that I've taken into the heart. And now take the right arm up toward the ceiling. So you're kind of create a line of energy. Ask questions too if you have them, because you're probably not the only one.
Should I keep my fingers lifted?
Yeah, you keep your fingers lifted and you feel like you're trying to scoop something off. Does that feel kind of strange?
Yeah.
It's a lightness.
It's challenging.
It is challenging. Where is it challenging, by the way?
In my hand.
In your hand?
Left hand, yeah.
Oh, okay. Think of it this way. Think of really squeezing in and sucking up so that there's never this downward feeling at all. Because I know that you need your hands. Kiwi's also an amazingly talented violinist, for anyone who's interested. Nice.
My hips getting tired too.
Yeah. So that's just it. It's your more legs and more core when I use my hands less. 2 hands on the floor. We're gonna see. I've never taught Kiwi before. I'm really excited. Let's do the plank. Awesome. Now in your plank, you can shift forward and shift back, and you'll notice that if you shift your body forward and back, you're going to feel different sensations in your wrist, but also different sensations in your core. You feel that, right? Yeah. So take a deep breath in, and now when you exhale, slowly lower to the ground. Perfect. My favorite way to teach Cobra, I don't know if people can see, but we're gonna reach our straight arms forward. Do you have room? Yay. All right, shoulder width apart and take a deep breath. When I exhale, before I even move, was it you? I was like, there's something on the floor. It's hilarious. When I exhale, I pull my belly button to my spine and I try to drag my hips closer to my armpits. This is all happening along the surface of the mat or the floor. And now what I want you to do is when you inhale, drag 2 straight arms toward you. Straight arms, yeah. And when you exhale, come back down. Nice. So notice the muscles in your back, right, that form that back wall of your armpit. And as you drag your hands toward you, this is a great way to clean my floors next time we bring sponges. And come back down. Good. Try it again. Up. And come back down. Last one. Inhale. Now if you stay right here and exhale, pull your belly in like we practiced before. Try dragging your pelvis towards your wrists. Then slide your hands back. This is for me, Cobra. Right? So it's a really like a tiny cobra, like a baby cobra. And now inhale in Cobra. And when you exhale, come back down. You can push through your plank if you want to. I keep my knees down and push back into either a down dog or a child's pose. Yes. You can do the advanced version. Nice. Now earlier in class, we did this sort of knee to nose action where we stepped forward and articulated. But we have to do our left side still, don't we? Yes. So inhale, raise your left leg up. And when you exhale, right here in down dog, try to touch your knee and nose together. So stay in down dog. Keep your hips high, keep your belly lifted. Do you get closer in down dog or no? Knee to nose. Okay, then shift forward and see if you can bring your knee closer and closer, closer. Find that place where the knee is as close to the nose as it can be. Then lift your head out of the way and try to step between your hands. Good. So a practice that I'm working on and failing miserably is I'm trying to step forward without lifting my hand off the floor. So step back in your down dog and see if you can do it. Well, I have a feeling about you, Kiwi. Lift your left leg up, inhale. Find that place I described. Your knee comes to your nose. Your belly is high and rounded and lifted and all that. Lift, 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 squeeze forward, squeeze forward, squeeze forward, and then
I lifted my palm a little.
That's okay. But that's also a habit. But do you feel how much more core it
Yes.
requires not to? So, and it also looks beautiful. I have a feeling that you're very capable of this. So inhale, stretch your arms up. Go ahead, let her in. Shoulder. And then just bring her in with you if you don't mind. Exhale, fold. Sorry, what did we do? We did a twist, right? Bring your fingertips to the ground. Right, because we shifted forward, we shifted back on the other side. And now take your left arm up. May not be usable after all. How's it feel to squeeze in, like you're pinching like you're actually holding, like I think of if I were holding a softball or some kind of thing where my fingers almost didn't touch the ground. Like that's the squeezing.
I feel it in my glutes.
So I'm glad you're telling me that. Try this. While you're twisting, your hips are kind of gravitating this way. What if you move your hips a little to the right and then pull the left hip crease? That was beautiful. You're fun to teach. How's it feel? Does it feel any different or more or less or about the same?
I'm engaging my right side more.
Okay.
Which is good.
Cool. Good feedback. All right, bring 2 hands to the floor. And I think we did a vinyasa, so let's do that again. Step back. Good. And lower to the ground. Now just take your cobra. You already know where you want to be. And you can actually take something higher. Because Kiwi is so experienced, I want you to make this about you. This is always going to be about you. So roll the shoulders under your back, pull the heart forward, reach the feet further back, and press them into the ground. Like press them down into the ground and try to stretch your big toes further back. Like, oh, my leg is getting longer. Have you ever had anyone do that to you? Like kind of pull your feet back? Yeah. Yeah, all right. You know what that feels like. Push back into your downward facing dog. Good job. Inhale, raise your right leg to the ceiling. Exhale, can you try that little trick and see if you can step forward as minimal lift in your hand as possible, no pressure. Nice. Inhale, strong legs, rise up. And when you exhale, open into warrior 2. Flip your right palm to the ceiling. Inhale, stretch up and down. Right, and that beautiful balance. Excellent. Then come back into warrior two. Yogi has great alignment, and what I want to try to do, yeah, you do actually. What I want to try to do is show that this leg could push that way, or come back, or it could rotate inside her hip socket that way. In which case, you'll know the difference because your pelvis will turn. Did you guys see that? Can we do it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first one is
It
just
can push wide, which lifted her arch, but put her on her outside edge, or it can roll wide. Yeah, that looks good. How does it feel?
there's a difference.
Do you do those? Do you do both those things?
I usually just cue to open the knee, but it's different if you think about rotating.
How did it feel in your body then?
Like more hips.
More hips. Is that something you like?
Good, yeah.
Okay. So she's externally rotating her thigh at the top. She has that preference. And I just want the four corners to feel equal weight. Now she's going to dance. Inhale, lift the arm up. Fantastic. Beautiful dancer. Exhale, bring your elbow to your thigh and stretch your other arm up. Fantastic. And then inhale, come all the way back up. And we're going to do all the side stuff right now. Stretch both legs almost straight. And then actually literally buckle low back knee just a tiny bit, like a small amount buckle. Yeah, slight buckle in the knee, so micro bend we call this, and put your hands on your hips for a minute. So here's a weird one too. Stick your butt out, like you're just sassy, right? Not that much. Stick your butt out, but wear the crown still. Yeah, keep the tiara on your head. So once you stick your butt out, I want you to try to roll the right thigh open like you did before, so your hips are going to turn again like they naturally would, and you're externally rotating, keep the knees straighter. Yes, and then now zip up your pubic bone. Excuse me. Reach the arms out to the side, and reach out over the right leg and tip into triangle. Fantastic. How's that feel? One is good. Yeah. One of my favorite games to play here that you might like to try sometime is I play with timing. Like, what if you were to rise so slowly that I can't see you rise? Slower. I see it. You're rising. Slower. Keep your hand on your shin. Just rise slowly, like you're pulling. Like you almost want to pull up like a pair of stockings. Very slower. Do you feel that?
That's really hard.
Come on back down. And then my other favorite thing to do is to lift up 2 inches and drop down 2 inches, and then make it smaller and smaller. 1 inch. Until you feel like that hover and that moment that's right between the upward and the downward.
Yeah.
Okay, come on up. She's done. So we're gonna sink into the right thigh and windmill to the floor. And if you want to take a vinyasa, do it. And if you would rather just go into down dog, let's make this Kiwi's moment. Down dog. Yes. Kiwi and me have something in common besides I love the pumpkin bread. Take the left leg up, inhale. And when you exhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. We're almost done, Sherry, I promise. Inhale, arms up. Nice. Did we go straight into warrior two? I think we did, right? Okay, so take your warrior two on this side. Nice. I love it. And you do the heel, or a little bit wider. I love that. No, that's really good. Don't change a thing. Okay. It's my favorite thing. So this side looks different than the other side. Does it feel different? Try your usual favorite way to kind of just widen the knee to the side. And then I can see that puts you on this edge more so than this edge. What if you keep all 4 edges grounded and you try the external rotation? Does that help?
Yeah.
Does that feel interesting?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. From there, inhale, stretch the left arm high. And we're caught between these 2 moments too, right? There's an upward reach and a downward reach. For me, I tend to be a little more back bend. How about you?
Like a sway in my lower
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, and I think that external rotation doesn't help us with that. So I have to extra pull my navel to my spine and extra lift my hips, my pubic bone towards my sternum. Yes, that looks fantastic. How's it feel?
It feels good.
It looks restricted, but it also looks more supported. So go ahead and come into your side angle then. Take your left elbow to your left thigh and your right arm by your ear. That's the dance that we missed. Nice. So can I physically adjust you? Sure. Okay. So what I'm seeing right now is the shoulder blade, and what I want to do is create less tension here. So my favorite way to do that is to bring, you can stay right there, but rotate, just feel more space there.
Yes.
Is that okay? All right, cool. Now, it doesn't always work for everyone, right? Yes. But I thought that might help you just based on how your back looked a little bit. Then from here, remember the stick your butt out trick? Try it. Stick your butt out and then turn your left thigh. So you're rotating your left thigh again, externally rotate. Yes, in your socket, keep your left inner edge of your foot down and zip up your belly. And then come all the way up because I know you've been there for a long time. Stretch both legs almost straight. Reach out over the left leg, tip into triangle. Try the 2 games and we're out of here. Right? Then you have to twist a little bit and I'll let you go. A little back bend too, probably. Good. So the same trick, my teacher used to say, high five me. So high five me. There. Yeah. Do you know how different that is?
Yeah.
Like, and you can almost push against an imaginary force there. That'll help you to pull your ribs back more. And your belly in. Yeah, perfect. So all I'm looking for is a longer line in the spine. And that's kind of what drives my interest when I'm practicing. More space in my spine, more space in my hip joint. Come all the way up, inhaling.
Slowly.
Yeah, that's the game, right? The slow game?
Mm-hmm.
That was fast though, right?
Yeah, that was too fast.
That's okay. But you felt how hard it was to move so slowly. The idea is that I just don't want you hanging from there or propping up on your shin. As you know, your students probably do that too, right?
Yeah.
They get in that pose and it's like a soccer pose. It's like, take my picture. You try to do a little tiny one, up and down. So the second game was move up a couple inches, down a couple inches, and then smaller and smaller. So you're approaching the limit of 0 until she feels like some kind of sci-fi hovering object right in the middle of the upward reach and the downward fold. Come on. Did you just yawn? Bend your left knee. That's okay. And multiple forward means vinyasa. Let's do some vinyasa. You said you do. You can take a vinyasa or you can take your down. Do you have a favorite twist that you'd like to show? Maybe you could teach part of this. She's like, I don't want to. Favorite twist. Yeah, like what's your favorite twist to do or to teach or to?
I just love supine twists.
Oh, we'll get there. One standing twist, and then we'll do just a little bit more relaxing practice. I think we might even have to like do the new meeting, but let's wait till everyone else gets settled. Walk your feet forward to your hands. Bend your knees and slowly roll up your spine. So there's a few different ways to twist in yoga. I like all of them. I'm just not so great at all of them anymore. So what I thought we could do is maybe I could show a variation of a twist, and Keely can either can show the other variation, or we can see if anybody, if you want to try those twists on, just to see how they feel in your body. So traditionally, you take your feet together, right? And you sit back in Utkatasana, and together is loose for me. I don't want my feet all the way together because my hips and my Q angle doesn't really work like that. So I take my feet about hips distance apart, inner hips distance apart, heels in line with my sit bones and my kneecaps. So hands to the heart, let's sit back in Utkatasana. Traditionally, you would take your left elbow to the outer right thigh, but I tend to just come to my inner left thigh now. Stay there. Stay there in the twist. And in this posture, pull your ribs back like you're going to try to do cat stretch. And notice how that gives you a little more space. Now just peel the right rib back, and the right armpit back, and the right shoulder back. There you go. Moving from different parts of the spine helps you to get more movement if that interests you. Did you come to the inner knee? Yeah. Okay, come down for a moment. Yeah, just relax. Perfect. And then bend your knee slightly. Think of Utkatasana from the ground. You can take a forward fold in between. Right, Utkatasana, and bring the hands to the heart. Try that on the other side. Nice. Now don't go crazy, right? Because you can do advanced things doesn't always mean you should. So listen to your body. Kiyomi's teacher here really is her body. So yeah, do you like that trick of rounding to find more space and then pulling the ribs back, the armpit back, the shoulder back? This is how we solve problems when you too want to get into the crazy postures. Like there's always a little bit more space. And one last thing that's not helping you is that your head is still forward. Lean back. Yes. Do you feel that? How different that is? And it doesn't have to be that far. Find the right place for you. Right. It could be the right place for you. I don't know. It's amazing. It's so far. Right. Fold forward. Bend your knees and roll up your spine. Awesome. And now let's take the arms up. Inhale. And when you exhale, fold forward, touch the ground. Step your left foot back into a lunge. Inhale as you set your left knee down. Exhale. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Nice. Now when you exhale, just bring the hands to the heart again. The first part of this is pulling your hips forward. So bend your right knee. The right knee can go past the toes, but ideally it doesn't, right? So depending on what's happening in your body, that might not be a good solution for you. So I don't like to go past my toes because I do have some knee issues. What I want you to notice then is as you bring your hips forward, if you like, you can feel your hips manually. Bring your hips forward, drop them down, and then take your navel backward and try to zip up everything below your navel. You can bend your right knee any amount. Is that okay, or do you want some knee pad? Because I got knee pad.
Feels okay.
Okay, you sure? My trick, in case your knee is not feeling quite right, you can take a towel underneath it, but oftentimes it's just your own weight pushing down on that little tiny patella that doesn't feel quite right. So I have tricks for that. But my favorite trick too is just to push through the entire left shin bone, so to distribute the weight more evenly. So it doesn't seem intuitive, push down to make it easier, but if you push down more, you'll distribute the weight and it'll feel a lot easier. Shift forward. Perfect. Inhale, take your left arm up. Take a side bend over to the right. Now once again, navel to the spine, pull in and up, and then maybe take your right hand to the ground. Woo, or toe block. Ground your right foot, flat, flat, flat. There you go. Yeah, blocks are great. If you don't have a block, you can use towels, you can use a chair, stool. Perfect. So the more that you bring your hips forward, I wonder if you can. Yeah, does that feel okay? Mm-hmm. And you pull your belly back and you lift up. Right, don't go crazy.
Yeah, my thigh's burning.
Okay. Are you, try this. Is it the top of your thigh burning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Up here.
Okay, so bend the knee again. I'm going to try to take the burn out of your thigh by pull your heel into my hand, pull it backward, but bend your knee forward as you pull your heel backward. So like activate the hamstrings.
I think it's just getting fatigued.
Tired. Okay, come back up. Come back up. 2 hands on the ground. Let's stretch out your hamstrings. Speaking of which, you can use blocks here. I highly recommend blocks, but it's up to you. You just lean back, right? So blocks go here, and that way I have a chance to keep my spine a little straighter. I know I'm off camera. Tiny camera. You can't both fit. Okay, good. I'm going to have to figure out a way. Take a few breaths there. I like to do what's called an ankle pump, where you point your toes and then flex your toes, and then point your toes and then flex your toes. And this is called dynamic stretching. With dynamic stretching, we can actually loosen up the muscle itself. A lot of stretching otherwise is addressing tight and stiff connective tissue, which is important too if you're sitting at a desk like all day, or sitting a lot more now that you can't really go out too much. You can still go out. All right, then go ahead and drag your right foot back. Let's do that much on the other side. Didn't twist it. We will. From here, she can choose, right, to step her other foot forward, or she can walk to the front and slide the right foot back. So either step left forward or walk forward and slide back. Oh. Yeah. So you can walk forward and slide the right foot back, which is sometimes easier, especially now that you're like working on that trick of stepping between your hands. Good. Okay, so from there, back knee down, perfect. Bring your hands all the way up. And then just slide the hands down in front of your heart. Take a few breaths there where you're going to bend your left knee to bring your hips forward, and then pull your belly button backward. And as you pull the belly button backward, zip up everything below it towards the rib cage. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm still looking for more bend, but it's up to you. Does it feel okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then from there, take the hands to the hips so you can feel what's happening in your hips. Perfect. Reach your right arm in the air as you just start taking a side bend up and over to the left. Excellent. So you feel when your foot gets light, push down harder on the part that wants to get light. Mm-hmm. And then give me pointers. Tell me, oh, this is bothering this or that or the other thing, or it's really hard because, let me know. How are you on this side? Yeah? How are you feeling right now? Good, good. Yeah, okay. Come back up.
We also held this side, we held the other side longer.
Oh, much longer. Do you want to stay a little bit longer so that you're at least more even?
Yeah, I think it was right here
Yeah.
where I was feeling a burn.
Okay. Yeah.
So
When we were working too, I'm dragging her left heel backward. I didn't say that to the camera, but the left heel drags backward and the right shin kind of pulls forward.
I'm feeling it now.
You are. The burn, the burn. Oh, beautiful. Fantastic. Yes, yes, yes. Is one side tighter than the other?
I think my right side is tighter.
Yeah. You look like a ballerina. It's good. I love it. Come back up and let's go ahead and bring 2 hands to your blocks. Come as high as you need to have straight spine. So again, if you don't have blocks, a chair would go like, ideally this is like a kitchen chair and you can put your foot through the legs. The chair would go right here. So you could be wherever you need to for this hamstring stretch. Another thing you can do, and I'm going to touch Kiyogi demonstrate really quickly, although it's probably not the best angle, is to bend the front knee. Go ahead. Tuck your back toes under and straighten your back leg, and then straighten both legs. And that's called pyramid pose. That's what you're doing, but you're doing it on your knees, because this is towards the end of Kiyogi's class now. So come on back down. Fantastic. And we'll do a supine twist. And a couple back bends, actually. Okay. So if you're going to do the lying down stuff, let's turn the mat this way. Probably even with the outlet, I can help you if you like. So there we go. Awesome. Thank you. And just bring, yeah, that's good. Does that look okay? Yeah, you're totally in there. Awesome. So we didn't do a ton of back bending. I want to make sure we get something in right now. So bring your heels about as wide as your hips. That's really wide, Kyo. Your hips are not that wide. You know that, right? Okay. So your heels are not that wide. They're just as sit bones, right? Heels in line with my sit bones. Lift your hips up. Take a deep breath in at the top. Just so go up there. Yeah. Now, Kyo naturally walked her heels back because that gives her an advantage in her quadriceps. So I'm going to see if Kiyogi likes this or not. If Kiyogi ever comes back to class, it was a good thing. Walk your feet forward like 3 inches, actually. Lift your hips up. Nice. More. Yes. Now, because I know you feel the weight kind of dumping in your shoulders, right? I want you to drag your knees forward. So don't move your feet. Drag your knees forward. Do you feel your hamstrings more? The back of your thigh more?
I feel my glutes.
Yes, that's fine. Glutes, hamstrings. The idea is that I do want your posterior chain to work. So a lot of, go ahead and relax. Yeah. I get in trouble with this too in my classes, but I think it's important to understand, and then we can flow. She can flow anyway. But lift your hips up again. Good. And each time you lift, try to stretch your knees more forward, and then come back down. I think if you went, take your toes to the front edge of your mat and try it again. Inhale, hips up. And pull, pull. Yes. You feel your hamstring? Yep. And slowly come back down. There we go. So we've got them at some point. But the reason we do this is not wrong, by the way. Bring them back to where you like them. The reason we bring our heels in is because now we're bringing the feet and the shoulders closer together. So yogis like to do actual back bends, and they need that distance to be shorter. But unfortunately, if we don't ever train in a different way, then we just get strong in one way. So it's important too that as strong as she gets to the front of her thighs, she also gets strong to the back of the thighs. So I've been working on that now. I'm approaching a balanced position actually. It's very good news. All right, now lift your hips up one more time, and we didn't really prep for back bending at all, so that is completely optional. I'm not like asking you to do it unless you really, really want to. I'm just inviting you to take it if you love it. So lift up again, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And so in addition to tractioning by pulling my knees forward, which is easier to do when I have more to grab, that's why I take my feet further away, then I also want to bring my chest towards my chin. So I do that too much right now. Chest towards chin is a really interesting cue. I think I saw you tuck your chin to your chest. Yeah. Do you know the difference? Yep. I want to make sure that I have the space beneath my neck at all times. So my friend Sarah, who's an amazing yoga teacher, I'm going to take you one day, her roof of her mouth perpendicular to the ground. So you have to almost lift your chin until that happens, and then move your chest towards your chin. And then you'll maintain the cervical curve in your neck. What do you think?
It doesn't. It's interesting. I don't know where the roof of my mouth is.
Oh, the roof of your mouth? Your tongue touches it.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's
Oh, no,
perpendicular.
you have to kind of step outside yourself and visualize that. That's a good point, actually, that you bring up. I always feel like I did know. I could feel it proprioceptively, but it's okay. All right, come back down, and now let's stretch your hips, right? You said you like to stretch your hips.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show Kiyoe some of my favorite hip stretches that are alternatives to pigeon, because pigeon is everyone's go-to. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. Hey, that's still pigeon. But let your knees tip over to the right, super slowly, so you can feel every step of the way what's changing, what's changing, what's changing, what's changing. If that feels amazing and you want to stay there for a couple breaths, stay there. Otherwise, come back to the center. And let's take the knees, same knees, by the way, same position, over to the left. And notice, again, slowly what's changing, what's changing, what's changing, what's changing. And also your core has to hold. Gives us some accountability. Come back to the center. True test of the yogi. And now my favorite, instead of just pulling that shape towards me, which everyone does all the time, is I like to play with the variation. So my variation is cross the leg all the way over. You've probably done this one. Pull the thighs to your belly.
Yes.
And then grab your shin bones.
I love this.
I cannot reach my shin bones that easily. Now here's the thing. Try grabbing above the ankle, and while you won't get as much leverage, I'm going to give you more leverage this way. What if you take your feet out wider? So like lift them up while you're there. Does that change both of them? Does that change anything at all for you? Is that interesting or uninteresting? Or I'll tell you the thing about the ankle, but I'll tell you after. I mean, I probably should just say it in front of the video, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you later.
There's like a spot where I feel it more, but it's not super high. It's like kind of in the middle.
Okay, and now the muscle that she is stretching kind of fans out, so it has multiple lines of pull. So in order to find that, I want you to very slowly rock to the right and rock to the left. So rock a little to the right and then rock a little to the left. Use the pace. My favorite expression is, if you were running into a cave, or if you were going into a cave that you've never seen before, use that pace, that kind of caution, that kind of awareness that you don't want to step on anything or get bit or get crashed or crushed. Right. There you go. See? I knew Kiyoe goes in the cave sometimes too. How's that feel?
Yeah.
So when I'm moving side to side, it's an exploration. What I'm looking for is the tightest spot. And that's where I stay.
It's right here.
There you go. She found it. Woo! I would pop champagne, but you know, we're doing yoga. Okay, uncross the legs. Woo! All right, before we go to the other side, little side step. How did that feel? What's going on? Tell me. Is there anything you feel like you need to do?
I feel like my shins are tired.
Oh, okay. And you weren't pulling on your ankles.
Right.
Oh, interesting. All right, let's take your knees just a little bit side to side, like windshield wipers, kind of. Yeah. So do that with your feet together, because that feels kind of interesting. And when I do it with my feet together, like one foot will literally come up and stack on top of the other. So my insteps stay connected and the soles of my feet are still in the same position that they would be on the floor. Good. And now take your feet wide, like as wide as your mat or even wider if you want to. And let your knees go side to side, swish. Any amount. Yeah, slow it down though. Slow it down and see if you can. Let your hips turn with this one. Oh, and then my favorite trick, super interesting trick. Hold on a second, stay there. When my knees fall to the right, let them both fall. I like to move this knee this way. Does that feel good? Yep. Yeah, try the other side. I'll just give you a little extra pull, but you can do it too. You can just try to reach to the wall. Like, just touch that spot on the wall. I know you can do it. Okay, and then let's do the left side. So left side, same twist, right? But with the externally rotated thigh. So let it go to the left. We're almost done, Sherry, I promise. Just being very patient. Come back to the center and then over. No rush at all. Take all the time you need. How does that feel?
It feels great.
Something on that side, huh? Right, well, the good news is we get to kind of stretch that side now. So cross that leg all the way over, pull it in. Yeah. So do you want to know? Are you like dying to know?
Yes.
Grab my feet. So a lot of the muscles that protect my knee, they either cross my hip or they cross my ankle. So the knee joint, there's only like a few muscles that, I think there's only one that I can think of, is the popliteus in the back of the knee space. And it's the only muscle I know that doesn't also cross another joint. So when you're grabbing your ankles and you're doing this, it's kind of opening up your knee more than it should, maybe. Yeah, not necessarily. I mean, it's not a bad thing. That's the thing. Like, some people are actually too tight and maybe need to do something like that. But I remember that my favorite teacher taught me that trick too. I was like, wow, I never really thought about that. And then it just felt different. Yeah. So you lift up and you come back down. You a Star Wars geek or not so much?
No.
This won't be new to you, so I won't say it. All right, so lift up again one more time, and then just rock a little bit, right? Very slow motion, because she's looking for treasure. And when she finds the treasure, she has to stop, and she's going to dig with her breath into the treasure. That's my metaphor of the day.
There it is.
You found it. It's the same, right? Isn't it kind of zoom into that side? Cool. Good to know. Is there anything you want to do before Shavasana? You feeling pretty good now?
I feel good.
Okay. We're going to take a Shavasana. So she's going to do this while I tell you what Shavasana is for. Shavasana is just, we have to do one last thing, actually. Before we take a Shavasana, we should do something symmetrical, some kind of symmetrical forward fold. So she's going to bring both knees to her chest. She's going to, don't cross the ankles, but try to be as symmetrical as possible. This is where I believe that your people like to do the happy baby.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's an option, right? But I love knees to chest. Like, that feels so good to me. The Ashtanga people love to do what's called plow. So whatever feels good to you. It's always a forward fold, though, because what we want to do is put the body, signal your nervous system that you're going to be symmetrical. And we also want to prepare your back to kind of relax and carry your bones. So whatever feels good to you is fine. If you like plow, if you like happy baby, if you like this too, that's great. But then place your feet on the floor. And traditionally, I like to have my feet a little bit wider than my hips to start, and then I let my knees turn into each other. But after so many years of teaching yoga, I realized that the ends of the mat are actually really good guide wires. So if you slide your feet straight down the edges of your mat, you're in a pretty good place for your Shavasana. For me, then, I'll take the elbows to the side edges of the mat. I want to make sure they can see you. So bring your elbows to the side edges of your mat, and if you push down with your elbows and your skull, you can kind of glide your shoulder blades together. That's one part. Remember how the knee went wide, but it also kind of turned out wide? From here, if you roll your palms toward the ceiling, there's the external rotation, and then relax. Relax your back. Relax your hips. If your ribs feel a little popped up right now, you might just kind of scoop your tailbone or move your ribs a little bit back from your hips. Yeah. And then just melt into the floor. Take some deep breaths and trace the pathway of that breath as it enters now, not just your nose, but into your lungs. You can focus on the wave-like nature of breath and how your belly kind of rises just like a wave, and when you exhale, it just kind of drops back down. With each exhale, soften your muscles. And as your muscles soften, your bones get really heavy. They sink deeper into the earth. And just like water can smooth out a rock or a beach, imagine that your inhales are doing that in your body. They're ironing out any little ripples of tension. Take deeper breaths. And as you inhale, expand your fingers, spread them apart, spread your toes. And as you exhale, just relax. Try that one more time. Inhale and spread wide. And exhale and relax. Then brush your thumb against each fingertip. Press a button with each one of your toes. That one's a little tougher. Walk your feet back towards your hips. Turn your head to the right. Super casual. Turn your head to the left. Excellent. And this time, turn your head right and let your knees kind of fall with you to the right side. You can take your right arm and reach it back behind you so that your right bicep is your pillow. Take your time there, and when you're ready, press up to your seat. Palms together, thumbs to your heart. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks so much for coming, Keely.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking time to watch our silly practice. That was a test, and I hope you enjoyed it.